What up, y'all? I'm making this video because my book is finally here. Yeah, I waited long enough. Now it's here. So I want to make this video so I could just go over it, show y'all what it's about, what's in it, who is it for. Obviously, From Prison to Properties ain't for everybody. Everybody don't want to get into real estate. Everybody don't care about it. The book is not really about my story. You know, I throw in bits and pieces of who I was before I went to prison. I throw that in there, but the book is not about me. This book is about helping people. I finally came up with a product that can help people. I used to have a product that killed people, which made no sense. Why would you want to kill your own customers? You know what I mean? So this book right here is uplifting. It's education at its finest point. You know what I mean? So if you looking to get into real estate, you should buy this book because it got a lot of gems in it that you could probably use. You know, a different insight on the way I think. You know what I mean? So in this book, we just go over basics like financial education. What's the difference between an asset and a liability? You know, people don't understand that this right here is an asset. I spent money on this, and now money is about to flow forever. I bought an asset. I didn't buy a new shirt. I didn't buy new clothes, a new car. I bought intellectual property. That's what this is. So this is an asset. Just like the houses that I'm living in is an asset. It brings money in. So I spent money and now I have money coming in. That's an asset, you know? And then we go over credit. Just the basics on credit, understanding credit on how it pertains to real estate. You know, people think you need a big high credit score to get into real estate, which is not true. People think that if you have poor credit, you can't get a house, but that's not true either. The thing with credit is you should always have good credit because then you'll get the best deals whenever you're going in for a deal, but it's not necessary. The thing that's necessary is finding a good deal. When you understand that, you can go so much farther. Credit is almost obsolete if it's a good deal. So always remember that. All right. Then we're going over the property types, different types of property. You can basically sum that up by saying, is it a commercial, which is something like a shopping center, or is it residential, like a single family home, or multi-family home, is duplexes, things like that. What's the different types of property? People think real estate is just houses. No, that's not the only real estate. Those billboards that you ride past every day, that's real estate. Somebody owns that land, put a billboard on that land, and now they make money when you put your advertisements on that billboard. So that's real estate, you know? So it's different types of real estate, and it's all different types of opportunities. The next is how to find the deals. Just because it's a big sign in the yard that says for sale doesn't mean that that's a good deal. They might be selling it for 2 times what it's worth, you know? So don't always just think that because a house is for sale in a good area that it's a good deal. Now, it's ways that you can break it down, understand what's really a good deal. Some of the best way I learned is foreclosures. Foreclosures is, in my eyes, the best deal because they're almost always under market value and they more than likely in a good condition. A foreclosure is just somebody that stopped paying a mortgage payment. So they owed the bank and they didn't pay them. So the bank want their property back. That's all a foreclosure is. And whenever we talking about real estate, just because you own a house doesn't mean you own a house. The bank owns that house, you know? So remember that. When you have a mortgage, that's only rent. It's just you're renting from the bank as opposed to renting from a landlord. Keep that in mind. So whenever we talking about mortgages, always try to have somebody else pay your mortgage. Get a duplex. You live in one, your tenant pays the other. Now you're living for free. You have no rent. You have no mortgage, you know? That's something I go over in this book. All right. And then another thing that I went over in this book that I felt was very, very important was debt. A lot of people don't like going into debt. People think of debt as owing they little cousin $50. I gotta pay him as soon as I can. Nah, when it comes to real estate, debt is so important. It's vitally important because debt is the only way you can leverage your money and get to the next level. And what I mean by that is if you owe somebody $100 a month and you're making $300 a month from the money you borrowed from them, why would you pay them back early? You're making $200 profit every month. So just keep owing them. You know, they're not sweating you about the money. They're not calling your phone about the money. You know, so just keep owing them. Take that profit and buy more. That's how you use debt. That's the only way you can really get ahead is to go into debt, because that way you can use your money to get more assets, you know, borrow the money and make money off of that. That's the whole idea. That's the whole goal. So I got a whole chapter on it because I felt like that was very, very important. Debt and inflation. Inflation is something else that we do not understand. We just don't understand it. So think about this. 1 week you were paying $4 for gas. The next week you were paying $5 for gas. That's inflation. So over that week, your money became worth less. It's worthless. So over time, if you look at it on a larger scale, your money is becoming worthless over time. That's inflation. So that's why you should go into debt. So now you're paying the person back with money that's worthless. It all ties together, and I talk about that in my book. All right. And the last thing I talked about was finding money. You don't always need a big pocket full of cash to get into real estate. You don't need it. The thing you need to do is know somebody who has a pocket full of cash. And what I mean by that is it's a bank on every corner. Every corner there's a bank. And that's what they're in the business of, giving people money. Now, the reason why you can't go in a bank and get the money is because you don't have a deal, you don't have good credit, and you just simply don't know what you're doing. Those are the reasons why you feel like you can't get a house. But it's all easy. I break it down in my book, simple. A 10-year-old can read this book and understand it. I actually made it for my son. My son was there while I was making it. I wanted to put it in a simple form where he can understand it, you know? So I go over all of that stuff. It's very simple. And if you want a copy of it, just inbox me. Inbox me and we'll get you a copy. Right now I'm working on a website where I can automate everything. Be on Amazon, Shopify, all of these stores. But right now I'm just getting the groove of it, you know. I never did anything like this before. It was a monumental experience doing this. And the reason why I say that is because I used to sell drugs. I used to sit down all night bagging up drugs. I remember one time I bagged up a whole pound into nickel bags. You can imagine how long I sat there bagging them up. And last night I was packaging these up. That was a totally different experience. Not only am I giving back some valuable information, I'm giving you value for your $20. I'm actually helping. Selling drugs didn't help nobody. It just made people's life worse. So I'm very proud of myself for this. And if you want to support, you can. If you don't, hey, all of the information in here will help you. All right? But from Prisoner Properties, just inbox me and we'll get you one.